Suppose you are sitting at your home and a pizza delivery boy by mistake comes to your house and delivers a pizza at your doorstep. You take the pizza in, you eat the pizza. Now in this case, you are liable to pay pizza money to the pizza shop or to a person who originally ordered the pizza. Second case, if you find someone's wallet lying on a road, you pick up the wallet and you find that address is provided inside the wallet along with some money and some credit cards. You book a cab or a taxi or auto and you go to that person's house. You give his wallet back to him. Now in this case, the person to whom wallet belongs is liable to pay you the taxi money or taxi allowance. So over here in these two cases, there is no contract between the parties. There is no offer, there is no acceptance. Still, contract is assumed by law, right? And this is called as quasi-contract. Hello everyone, welcome to Law Simple and Pure. I'm your host Dr. Vaishali, and in today's lecture, we are going to learn a very important chapter in law of contract called as quasi-contract, quasi-contract or quasi-contract. If there is a question asked on quasi-contract in your question paper, how you will write your answer? We'll begin with introduction, then meaning of quasi-contract, definition of quasi-contract, then origin of quasi-contract, or we'll cover doctrine of unjust enrichment. After that, one by one, we will cover all 5 types of quasi-contracts. Okay, section 68, 69, 70, 71 and 72. So 5 types of quasi-contracts are there which are provided by Indian Contract Act. So in introduction, what will you write? That there are 5 types of quasi-contracts provided by Indian Contract Act. So there is, in usual contract, what happens? One party makes an offer which is accepted by other party. Okay, offer for that offer is called promise, and one promise for another promise is called agreement. When that agreement gets legally enforceable, it is called as a contract. So 2 competent parties can enter into a contract, right? But in case of quasi-contract, parties are not entering into a contract voluntarily, but still contract is assumed there by law, right? If a salesman comes to your house and if he forgets his pressure cooker at your house, and if you use that pressure cooker, there is no contract between you and salesman, right? But still law assumes contract over there and you have to pay the money for that cooker to the salesman. So there is no contract between the parties, right? But still law assumes that there is a contract, and this is called as quasi-contract. Now what is the meaning of quasi-contract? Quasi means like. So they are not actual contracts, but they are like contracts. But law enforces them like contracts. So quasi, meaning of quasi is like, which are not actual contracts but which are similar to contracts, or which are like contracts, or which are treated as contract by law. Now you know what is quasi-contract, and obligations, okay, arising out of quasi-contract are called as quasi-contractual obligation. Salmon defines it as obligations arising not out of actual contract, but when law assumes obligations there, they are called as quasi-contractual obligations. Okay, now let us see what is the definition of quasi-contract. Listen carefully. When one person, okay, has done something for another, okay, when one person has done something for another or paid money on his behalf to third party, okay, when one person has done something for another or paid money on his behalf to third party, then law or court comes forward on the ground of equity and says that from whom the benefit has been taken, that benefit has to be returned back. Okay, so what is the meaning of quasi-contract? When one person does something for another. हिंदी में बोलना हो तो जैसे एक इंसान ने दूसरे के लिए कुछ किया है. ओके, सपोज अ डॉग इज फाउंड ऑन अ रोड and there is a collar and there is an address written on that collar. You take care of that dog, okay, that dog is injured, you pay for medical expenses and you return the dog to the original owner. Then in that case, because you have done something for the another person, that another person cannot take benefit of the situation. He has to pay you the expenses which or the money which you spent on that dog, right? So court comes forward. Though there is no contract between the parties, court comes forward. And on which ground? On the ground of equity. What is equity? Equity means equality, samanata. Okay, so court says that though there is no law on this, but still we will interfere on the ground of equity. And what equity says? That you can't get rich at the expense of other. If something is doing something for you, you must return that favor to him, and that is called principle of equity. So when one person has done something for another, or he has paid money on his behalf to third person, then court comes forward on the ground of equity and says that from whom you have taken the benefit, please return benefit to that person, right? So this is the definition of quasi-contract. Now, origin of quasi-contract is found in equity. Two types of laws are there at the base of Indian law: common law and equity. Common law came from British courts. Equity came from equity courts which were there in Britain. So if there is no remedy found in common law, remedy was given on the basis of equity. Equity means equality. So it is the duty of court of law to bring equality or to do justice. Okay, so those principles are called equitable principles. Do we have law relating to equity in India? Yes. Rules relating to natural justice, doctrine of bias, okay, odi alterum partem, here the other side, or quasi contracts. All these things are based on grounds of equity. And what is the doctrine which is there in equity about quasi contract? Doctrine of unjust enrichment. Unjust means which is not just, which is not good. Enrichment means making other person rich. Okay, for example, if a minor boy is lost, you bring the minor boy home, you feed that boy, okay, you take that boy to his house in a taxi, and you return that boy to his parents. In this case, parents, they cannot take benefit because you didn't do it for charity, right? They are in an obligation to return the money which you spent on the boy, okay, all the taxi allowances, all the feeding allowances and all. So court will not let enjoy the other party the benefit of somebody else's efforts. Okay, so this is called as unjust enrichment, getting rich at the expenses of others. And court bans unjust enrichment. It comes from equity, and quasi contracts are based on the doctrine of unjust enrichment. A person cannot get rich at the expense of someone else's, right? In that case, a person whoever has taken benefits, he has to return the money to other person. Example, if a salesman leaves a shoe box at your house, he is not doing it out of charity, right? It's his mistake. You cannot take benefit of his mistake by using those shoes. If you use those shoes, you must return the money to that salesman, and this is called as quasi contract. 5 types of cases are covered by section 68 to section 72 of Indian Contract Act under the name quasi contract. Number 1 amongst them is section 68, which provides for supply of necessities. Supply of necessities to whom? To an incompetent person. Let us understand this one by one. Necessities means necessary things. For a student, books are necessary. For a hungry person, food is necessary, right? So that is called as necessary. It doesn't include luxuries. So if you find someone else's boy on a road, okay, and if you take that boy to 5-star hotel and feed him, and then you go to parents and ask for the money, no, this is not a necessity. This is called as luxury. So supply of necessities, right, doing the needful. To whom? To an incompetent person. So what is competency as per the Indian Contract Act? Minor is incompetent to enter into a contract. Lunatic means person of unsound mind. Third is person who is declared by law as an incompetent, or who is banned by law from entering into a contract, and they are alien enemies. It means if India is having war with some other country, citizen of that country is called as an alien enemy. Second, insolvent. Insolvent means Diwala Bajna. His property is not enough to pay off his debts. That person is called insolvent. So that person is incompetent to enter into a contract. Married woman can take decisions of her own property, but he cannot enter into a contract on behalf of her husband. So married woman, corporations are bound by memorandum of associations, so they cannot go against, and whatever is authorized by memorandum of association, they have to stay in that limits. And convicted criminal, okay, so if a person is convicted, in that case he cannot enter into a contract. So these are the people who cannot enter into a contract on their own. So for these people, if necessities are supplied, then in that case it is called as a quasi contract. Example of supply of necessities to an incompetent person. Suppose you find a lost person on a road, okay, and you get his address in his pocket. That lost person is a person of unsound mind and who doesn't remember his address. You find his address in his pocket. You bring that person home, you feed that person, okay, and you find out that that person stays in some other state. You buy a plane ticket of business class and you go and drop that person. Because taking that person into a business class is not a necessity. You can take that person to his state by bus or by train also, right? So over here you cannot get expenses for business class ticket in this case, okay. Second case, if you found a lost person on a road who is of unsound mind, you take that person to his house, okay, by train or by bus, and then in that case, that person is not actually liable to pay you, you can get that amount from his property or from the trustees, right? So this is called as supply of necessities to an incompetent person. So in case of supply of necessities, remember that whatever is supplied, it should be necessary and not luxury, and it should be provided to an incompetent person. And define what is incompetent person one by one, cover all the categories and provide a nice illustration. Second type is payment by interested person, which is covered under section 69 of the Indian Contract Act. First I will give you a proper illustration or example, and then we will go to actual section. So what section 69 provides? Example, tenant and house owner, okay. So tenant has to pay his rent money to his house owner. So there is an agreement between house owner and tenant that tenant has to pay 20,000 rupees as a rent, and house owner will take care of the other expenses like society maintenance and all. For 1 month, house owner goes out of a country and society maintenance cost is due. Over here, tenant is obviously interested. Otherwise, what will happen? Society will not provide that tenant all the facilities which are there in society, like using swimming pool and all. So tenant pays that maintenance tax or that house maintenance allowance which owner is supposed to pay. So tenant comes forward and he pays the money. In this case, owner cannot take benefit of this situation. He has to return that money back to tenant. So what are the conditions involved here? Number one, payment by interested person. See, tenant has his interest, right? If he doesn't pay it, what will happen? Society will not let the tenant use all the facilities, right? So payment by interested person. Second, payment is not voluntary, okay? Voluntary means apni ichha se. He did it because it was needed. So it was not a voluntary payment. So first, interested person. Second, not voluntary. Third, payment is made to third party, right? To a society. On behalf of whom? On behalf of a party. On behalf of some other party. Then in this case, law comes forward and says that payment is made by interested party, but the other party cannot take benefit of this payment, and the other party, whoever enjoyed this, must return back his money. One more example. A big apartment is there, okay, and every tenant pays rent to owner, and owner takes care of the electricity charges. 1 month, owner goes somewhere and electricity people come and they ask for the payment, otherwise they tell that we will cut the electricity. In this case, one of the tenant comes forward and pays the money. So in this case, he didn't do it voluntarily. He did it because it was needed. okay, because he had his own interest in that. Otherwise what will happen? उसके घर की बिजली भी कट जाएगी, right? So he was a interested party in this case. So in this case law will come forward and law will provide that though there is no agreement between actual owner and the tenant, still owner has to pay back the electricity money which tenant provided on behalf of owner to electricity company, right? So this is called as payment by interested person. Third category of quasi contract is liability to pay for non-gratuitous act. What is gratuity? Means free thing, okay? Charity. If you go to mandir and you get some prasad, it's for free, okay? It's a gratuitous act. What is non-gratuitous? Non-gratuitous means there is no intention to give something for free. For example, Amazon delivery boy comes to your house and delivers someone else's packet to your house. You take the packet inside, you open it, and you find a beautiful dress inside it. You use the dress. In this case, that Amazon delivery boy did this by mistake. He had no intention to do it free of charge, right? And Amazon also, the original company, did it because they wanted their money, right? So it's not a free act, but you took advantage of that act and you used that parcel for your benefit. Now law will come forward and law will say that you took the parcel inside, which was non-gratuitous act. You enjoyed the parcel. Now you are under an obligation to pay the delivery guy, okay, or to pay the original company. So this is called as liability to pay for non-gratuitous acts. So what are the conditions essential here? Some act is done by one person to another person, but that intention of that person is not to do gratuity or not to do any free favor, but it is a non-gratuitous act, okay? And if you have enjoyed that non-gratuitous act, then you are under an obligation to pay for it. So that is section 70 of the Indian Contract Act. Now what is section 71? Point number 4 or fourth type of quasi contract is finder of goods or responsibility or liability of finder of goods. First I will give you an example. If you go to a hotel for a dinner and you forget your purse in the hotel by mistake, in this case it is the duty of that hotel owner to return that purse back to you. He found out that purse, so he becomes finder of goods. Finder of goods is treated exactly like bailment. In bailment what happens? Bailer is there, bailee is there. For example, your neighbor is going out and he says that I am keeping my dog with you. Take care of my dog, and once I return back, please return my dog to me. So this is called as a contract of bailment. So finder of goods, or what is the responsibility of finder of goods? It's exactly like bailee. What is the responsibility of bailee or of finder of goods? Number 1, taking reasonable care of those goods. Number 2, not to use those goods for his own benefit. Number 3, not to mix those goods with his own goods. And number 4, return those goods back to the owner. Example, if you are a shopkeeper and 2 bags of rice are delivered to your store by mistake by someone else. In that case, in case of rice bags, what you are supposed to do? You are supposed to store them in a cool and dry place, right? You will not use those rice bags for your eating. You will not mix those bags in your own rice bags which are there in your store, and you will return the rice bags to the original owner once you find out the original owner. So that duty of care or reasonable amount of care depends upon case to case. If you find apples, what is a reasonable care? You should return them immediately back to owner, right? If it is a rice, you can take some days because they are not perishable or immediately perishable types of goods. If you find books, then what care you should take? You should keep them away from water. So that is a reasonable type of care which you are supposed to take care, and it depends upon case to case. So that is called as a responsibility of a finder of goods. So what is the responsibility of finder of goods? Taking reasonable care of the goods, okay? Not to misappropriate the goods or use the goods for his own purpose. Number 3, not mixing the goods with his own goods if they are inseparable. And number 4, returning back the goods to the original owner. Number 5 or last type of quasi contract, money paid by mistake or coercion. First we'll start with example. A and B, 2 friends, are staying in a house, okay? And usually A pays taxes relating to house. Okay, so A goes to municipal office and he pays all the taxes relating to house, and he goes out of the town. B thoughts that A went out of a town, so for this month I will pay all the municipal taxes. So he again goes back to municipality and pays those taxes. In this case, municipality is under an obligation to pay B back all the money because that money is paid by mistake. So this is all about quasi contracts. So quasi contracts are not actual contracts, but law assumes that this is a contract. And when law assumes, when these 5 types of cases are there: supply of necessities, payment by an interested person, liability to pay for non-gratuitous acts, responsibility of finder of goods, and money paid by mistake or coercion. In all these cases, party whoever has taken benefit of the situation is under an obligation to pay the party whoever had paid money or whoever had given his services. So this is all about quasi contract. If you have any question about this, please write your question in a comment box, or please give me an idea about the next topic which you want me to cover in my next lecture. Till then, goodbye and good luck.